Hi everyone, Mr. Neighbor here, and today we're going to talk about graphing. Graphing is a great way to locate positions in one-dimensional, two-dimensional, or three-dimensional space. It's a way that everybody can understand. It provides a system for communicating locations to people. Just like a map would. It's a way to find a specific city or town or country on a map. You can go so many to the left and so many up and down, or so many to the right and then up or down. So that's what a graph's purpose is. We sometimes call this diagram a coordinate plane because we put a bunch of coordinates on it, or we call it a Cartesian plane. Okay. Some parts of this coordinate plane or Cartesian plane. This horizontal line is what we call the x-axis. It goes on from positive infinity, comes in, hits 0, and then goes all the way to negative infinity. That part is just not shown. This line is called the y-axis. It does the same thing but runs vertically. So it comes in from positive infinity and then goes all the way down to 0 and then continues going into the negatives to negative infinity. We are counting by ones in this case, but we could count by different numbers. If we wanted to, we could count by 1/2 and change what this is called, which is the scale. So the scale, you can count by whatever is convenient for whatever you are plotting. So in this case, we're plotting whole numbers. So whole numbers on the scale is a good thing. This right here where the two axes meet, that is something that's called the origin. It's the beginning of our graph. It originates from there. This has the coordinate of 0, 0, which leads me to the next part, coordinates. So coordinates are made up of two different numbers. One stands for the horizontal, one stands for the vertical. So the coordinates are labeled alphabetically. So for example, 0, 10, 0 is the x, 10 is the y, because in the alphabet it goes x, y. When we get to or if you ever get to three-dimensional space, this is two-dimensional space. If you ever get to three-dimensional space, the third one would always be z. There's an x, y, and z axis that kind of juts out of the screen here. But we don't have to worry about that in 7th grade math. So first one's always x, second one's always y. So if I see 0, 10, that means I need to go 0 horizontally and up to 10. So that is 0, 10 right there. Then 1, 8. Go over 1, up 8. There's my dot. 2, 6. That means go over 2, up 6. Right there. 3, 4. Over 3, up 4. And 4, 2. Go over 4, up 2. And it looks like when I connect all these, which is not necessary, but it looks like it's going to form a straight line that goes down like that. So graphing is just a system to kind of help us locate objects. It helps us look at data. It's a visual for seeing patterns. So instead of looking at a bunch of numbers always, we can see a visualization because that helps us look at different or at a problem from a different perspective. So graphing is a great thing, but you do need to know the basic parts. And I would say to highlight some important parts that people typically mistake are the x-axis is always here running horizontally. The y-axis always goes vertically. I kind of remember that because the y actually goes a little vertical. That tail goes vertically, so that's why it's the vertical one. And the coordinates are always alphabetical. X, then Y. X, then Y. just like the alphabet, X, then Y. So it's the horizontal and then the vertical, horizontal and then the vertical. All right. Hopefully you have your basics for graphing on a coordinate or Cartesian plane down.